Hi, I'm Marcus, your Game Dev Knight, and welcome to the Raidborn workshop, where I share the game's progress and take you behind the scenes of game development. Raidborn is a first-person action RPG, where you explore dynamically generated levels, experience ferocious physics-based combat, and build your character from a variety of exciting skills. If that sounds good to you, make sure to wishlist the game on Steam and to watch the introduction trailer. Both is linked in the video description. This time I will show you how I created a brand new set of trees, plants and flowers, how I used them to create new, better looking collections for my level generation system, and how I applied different post effects, color grading and lighting adjustments to ultimately supercharge the visuals of Raidborn. And as always, it makes sense to stay till the end, because there will be a loot drop where you can grab some cool stuff, but more about that later. In the previous devlog, I have already teased that I soon will work on improving the visuals of the exterior levels. And guess what? This time is now. One important step was to get rid of this old, ugly looking vegetation that barely blends with the grass shader I introduced some time ago. A game I think always had very beautiful and enchanting looking forests is The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, which is also one of my favorite games of all time. That's why I first analyzed the plants, trees, object arrangement, lighting and so on to get an understanding of how Oblivion managed to create the just described look and feel I also would like to achieve in Raidborn. After I carefully examined the different ingredients Bethesda was using when developing the game, I decided to first start working on a new set of trees. One thing I specifically noticed about Oblivion's trees was that they are pretty huge, like really huge, especially compared to the trees I currently have in Raidborn, and I think that has a bunch of reasons. First, I think it makes a forest feel much denser, even if you're not placing that many trees. Another advantage is that it blocks the view of the player, which allows to decrease the view distance of objects and thus helps you improving the performance. It also changes the vibe of a level, as you feel much more like you're in the heart of a forest, surrounded by nature. And I think it's pretty interesting that such a small property like the scale of your trees can have so many effects. When I was done with the trees, I also created some new plants and flowers because I really wasn't very happy with the vegetation I currently had available. Then I imported the new models to the engine, and I think the new assets really blend much better with the grass than they did before. Also because I have adapted the color of the new vegetation to the grass color. Next, I started to optimize the lighting to create a nice and warm atmosphere for the scene. By the way, on screenshots and in devlogs of Raidborn, you usually only see this warm summer evening kind of lighting and weather. The reason for this simply is because I think it looks the best and has a very nice, comfy mood, and thus is ideal to represent the visual quality of the game. Later, however, I plan to also introduce other weather and lighting scenarios like rain, fog, night and more. An issue I'm facing with lighting my scenes is that I can't use Unity's global illumination, as that needs to be pre-baked in the editor, and as I'm using a level generation system that builds levels as you play, I can't do that. Global illumination, by the way, simply is indirect lighting, which means that lighting is also applied to spots that are not directly lit by a light source, which makes it look more realistic and also more or less evenly distributes some light across its effective radius. Regarding exterior levels, I came up with a very simple solution that mimics global illumination, and that is to add not one but two directional lights, which are basically sunlights in a game development environment. In this case here, I'm using a main light colored orange to represent the sun and a secondary light colored blue to represent the reflection from the sky. The second light's orientation is mirrored, so it lights the areas the main light can't reach. although that's a pretty solid solution for an exterior environment, it doesn't work for interior levels. But that's a topic for another video. Lastly, as you can see here, I adjusted the grass properties so it better blends with the lighting in the scene. The next step in improving the visuals was to set up some cool post effects and to further adjust the lighting so everything blends together nicely. First, I fine-tuned some skybox properties like the color, the position of the clouds and stuff like that. Then I applied some color corrections like tone mapping, increasing saturation and adjusting the color balance to make the image look more vivid and ultimately more pleasant to look at. Another effect I always like to apply is bloom, because I think it makes light sources look more realistic, and in that case here in particular I think it also helps to intensify this nice evening mood. Then I also added some fog, which I think always makes a scene more atmospheric and also improves the sense of depth in 3D space, and if done correctly it can also supplement the lighting of a scene. Last, I also played around with adding depth of field, which is why I added this tree here right in front of the camera to ensure close objects aren't blurred, as I mostly want to blur objects that are in the distance. But because I haven't yet completely understood how to correctly use this effect, I disabled it for the moment and maybe we'll come back to it later. The final piece missing to supercharge the visuals of the exterior levels was to create some new object collections. As explained many times before, that's the name of my object spawning system necessary for the Infinix level generation system Raidborn is using. To make it work, I need to create a bunch of object arrangements I add to a collection, which then randomly spawns one arrangement of that collection. As you can see, I made use of the new trees and plants I created earlier to build different kinds of collections like tree groups, flora groups, rock formations and more. So now let's see the result of all the effort I recently have invested to improve the exterior levels. But first I would like to show you how the levels looked before so you can better see the difference. Now let's take a look at the new and improved exterior levels, and I think I can confidently say that the difference is pretty dramatic. Although I would say the visuals of the exterior levels now come pretty close to the vision I have in mind for the final game, please keep in mind that the game is still in alpha and there are a few more things I'm going to work on. I especially would like to improve the terrain and further decrease the level size and make everything a bit more streamlined to improve the pacing. But generally I'm pretty happy with the result and I think I have achieved my goal of at least coming close to the look and feel of Oblivion's lush forest environments. And now it is Lootdrop time. Let's see what's in the chest today. To claim your loot, just visit Raidborn.com to create your Raidborn account, or log into your existing account if you already have one. Creating your account not only allows you to take advantage of loot drops, but also rewards you with an extensive welcome package. If you're logged into your account now, come back here and click the link at the bottom of the video description, which will add the honor crowns of this loot drop to your inventory. But hurry up, the link will only work until the next devlog is released. The new items unlocked with this loot drop are now available in the Raidborn shop and can be unlocked spending your honor crowns. A link to the shop is also in the video description. You can find more detailed information about the system in the email you receive after account creation. And now it's your turn to tell me your thoughts about the game and the video in the comments below. As always, see you next time and stay cool.